All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, y'all.
Hey,
My
y'all.
name is Audrey Tan. I am here as a host on our lovely podcast, Vibe-acious Babes. You can find us on youtube.com/@vibe-acious-babes. Took me a second.
Damn, you memorize that.
Yes,
Okay.
well, your
You
girl
have to
been
be
working.
clocking it in, okay.
So finally, this week is the week that we're going to be launching our podcast on all major platforms.
Gang, 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 gang.
So Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, you name it, you can find us. Probably just those 3 though. Anyway.
Good enough. Hey, that's better than nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Better than nothing. Go ahead.
So I want you to introduce yourself first because you have a lot of credentials,
I do.
period. This is my lovely other host, Angel
Hi, y'all.
Ortiz Jr.
Period. My name's Angel. You can follow me on Instagram at Avocado Papi. I'm an artist. I have a YouTube channel that I live stream every Sunday at 7 p.m. Let's see. I have a Patreon, which we can go and support me on. I have 3 tiers, $3, $6, and $9. I'm really trying to push my $6 tier because I'm trying to build up my Discord and like my community aspect of things.
I love that.
And if you want any like critiques or if you have any questions, that's a good place to do it. And also support me at the same time.
Oh,
If you have the funds.
yes.
If not, you could totally message me on Instagram.
Please do, yeah.
Like, yeah, like I'm not that serious about it, but also at the same time, if you want to give me some dough. I have a comic book coming out October 31st. Our first 5 pages are launching. The comic book is called Brujas.
Yes.
It's about the La Llorona, the La Lechuza, and the Donkey Lady. And they're just a bunch of homegirls that like to vibe out, go on adventures, smoke weed, stuff like that.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
it's a good vibe.
It is
I
a
also
good
have this podcast. So please subscribe and like. We're really trying to get our followers up for this. So that's
Yes.
like something I'm really pushing. I just took over the Instagram. So that's something I'm going to really be focusing on is like promoting this up.
Yes,
Yes.
period. Well, you also have, did you say Daily Studios already?
No. But DD Studios. I have a lot. You're right. I need to make a list.
I know.
So DD Studios is the studio that me and my boyfriend created together. That's what we're launching the Brujas comic on. So it's going to be under DD Studios. And that is just a joint operation between me and my boyfriend so that we can get out comic books that we like. We have a lot of stories. It's not just Brujas, but it's our first big project. And if everything goes right, which I'm planning it for it, and it looks like the cards are aligning with what I want,
yes.
then we have a lot of great stories coming out for y'all. So please support us. Like, we would really appreciate it. Go follow my boyfriend too. His name is Cyber Chola. Very fun vibe he got going. He's very aesthetic and like model-esque, which, you know, I love him for.
Right. It's thirst traps,
It's
y'all.
thirst
It's
traps.
thirst traps.
You get all kind of content, okay? You get all
Right,
kinds of content from
right.
us, the
Period.
Firehouse bitches.
The Firehouse Bitches.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we call ourselves because she's a Sagittarius, I'm a Leo, and then he's an Aries. So it's just a bunch
All
of
the
fire
fire
signs.
signs.
living together. It's fine.
It is a lot of fun, honestly, I think.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
good time, especially when we all like get together and hang out and like it's a good vibe.
It's been a hot minute since we all been able to hang out,
Since
though.
my birthday, that
Yeah.
was about it.
Yeah,
And then you
pretty
couldn't come because like out to the nighttime portion because you have school. But
Yeah.
once that school portion is done, shit.
I'm outie. I'm just kidding.
I'm out, period. Also, I just want to put it out there. Neopets hire us. We're
Yes, yes.
They're
We're
trying
gonna
to
be
make a
working.
comeback. They're
Yes.
trying to make a comeback.
I want them to so bad, though.
I'll jump on board if they need me, honestly.
Fucking love Neopets.
Fucking yes, sir. I'll be like
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, ma'am. Whoever's running it. I don't know.
Yeah, both.
Both.
They,
They,
them.
They, them.
The Neopets are running it.
Honestly, I was showing Merlin like pictures of like different Neopets and stuff today. And I'm just into it right now.
I love them.
I'm really trying to manifest it. So bringing it up on here would be a perfect way to manifest it.
Period, girl.
Yeah. But I think that's it for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Okay,
ahead.
awesome. Well, my name is Audrey Tan. On Instagram, you can find me at first.generation. You can also find me on YouTube and twitch.tv at first generation without the dot. just by the way. I do have a live stream usually on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., but I'm going to be changing those times after this week. So after this week's Wednesday 7 p.m. showing, I'm going to do my live streams on Tuesdays from now on. But even then it's going to be a little TBD because I kind of want to work on my vlogs a little bit more than I want to work on my streaming.
Yeah.
I feel like the vlog aspect of like editing videos, producing videos, and like learning more about Canva and like, you know,
I love Canva.
all of, yeah, you know what I mean? So I kind of want to learn more about those kinds of web design aspects and like, you know, editing videos, producing technological, like, you know,
Whatever,
design, whatever.
yeah.
So I've been working on my first vlog for the last like 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, honestly. And it is going along so well. I think that it looks really awesome. I think that I'm producing something that I'm like super proud of, but I need to actually finish it. So I might put this streaming like on a back burner while I'm going through school, and then whenever I'm done with school and I have a job, then I'll get back into streaming. But for now, I'm just gonna move my streams to Tuesdays at 7 p.m. And who knows, even maybe I can like do editing on the stream, because I know that there's a lot of people that like they do their coding or they do their video editing on
Yeah, it's more
on my
about hanging
stream.
out with the person while they're doing their work
Yeah.
than it is about the game.
Exactly,
Yeah.
period. So, yeah, so just watch out for that. I have already posted up my full live streams on YouTube. So I have my GTA 5, my unpacking, and my Witcher episode out already. And then this past week, I took a poll on my Instagram again, and everybody wants me to play Witcher again.
Fuck
It was
yeah.
between Witcher and Fall Guys. So I was like, dang, it was really close too. It was like 2% difference. So I was like,
Witcher is very popular.
Witcher is
honestly,
very
and it's a good
popular.
story, so you're gonna have a good time.
I know, I love it so
Yeah.
much. But yeah, those are my socials. My lovely, would you like to explain our card of the day?
Yes, so today we got the Ace of Wands. The ace is meaning the first or a beginning of something. And then the wands has to do with like passion. So it also has to do with like emotional passion. It also has to do with like creation, you know, like starting of something.
Ooh.
Very fire sign energy, so very us.
Okay,
I
period.
find like the first thing that pops into my head about what I'm passionate about is like what I've been thinking about, especially when it comes to my figure drawing classes, is like the education system and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And like also like the whole craft system has been going into all that stuff, and I just been finding like a good outlet with that when it comes to like new passion starting up. Have you found yourself like, oh, that's really cool, like I'm gonna look more into that, like
Honestly, yes. Well, like recently during class time, we've been getting into Java, and it's really fucking difficult and honestly kind of boring just because it's like just so strict, and it's like, oh, you can't do it your way. Like it's like a puzzle when you do front end, but back end it's very strict. Like if you fuck up one thing, you fuck up a lot of things,
Right.
or you can't even run it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I just kind of got a little bit more into like the front end sort of stuff. And they have a lot of online courses that are free for a lot of these front end, like, you know, mentor stuff. So I was super excited because I found that there's one for like Tailwind CSS, and there's one for HTML, and like all these other different kind of like JavaScript frameworks. And I'm kind of excited because I really want to start working on that Neopets proposal website.
yes.
And it's coming down to the wire because I only have 2 more full months of, or like I guess 1.5 months of lecture left before we start on our final portfolio project.
Right.
So I'm kind of like a little worried about it, but I'm also super excited to finally be graduating from this course.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that for you. This is also like a sign to anybody watching this that like if you have a new passion, like run with it. Run with your passions, because that's what's gonna feed your soul. So that's my advice. Don't let it control you though. Like don't let like
Yeah.
also keep in mind that you have to also go to work and pay bills and stuff like that. I know
Exactly.
some people do struggle with like balancing their passions out with like grounding energy. So
Yeah.
you got kind of need both in order to like solidify something. The analogy I always like to use is
true.
like making a clay pot. You need passion to kiln it.
Ooh,
You know what I
I
mean?
like
Or
that.
cure it or some, I forget the terminology, but basically you got to make it hard. How are you going to solidify it
Exactly,
if you
right.
don't have the passion?
And like I wanted to say a little bit on that. Like I feel like people might think that I'm such a like quitter because I
What the?
did do like the whole meal prepping and then the
Oh,
omakase dinner, and
that's
I
hard.
I do still have a lot of passion for cooking, but I kind of realized that the passion for cooking, it comes from me realizing like I'm cooking for the people that I love, and I'm cooking for people so that they can feel the love that I have for them. You know what I mean? And for me to try and turn that into a business, while it still will, put my love out there in the world, it's also very hard work, and it's a
Right.
lot of like financial things that I have to be really savvy with that I'm really not savvy with
It's
my
a
money at
skill.
all.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is
So
a skill.
it is, yeah. But eventually I'll get to the point where I will be able to offer my services at like a very modest price, but it'll still keep me like, afloat.
Hmm.
So
I
I'm
was gonna
hoping
say
that.
like cookbook, cook website,
Oh, not,
like
yeah, no, I mean like with my current skill set that I'm going for. So like the
gotcha.
web design stuff, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that'd be so cute. A little
Yeah.
cook website. Come over here, like if you
No,
want some.
right? My blog.
Yeah, if you want to
Okay.
order food, let me know. I'll deliver it.
Yeah. No, 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 no,
I don't know about all that.
no. No, I'm busy.
Period. Yeah, so that's basically what the card of the day is.
Period. Well, then how has your week been going so far?
Let's see how was my week. It was honestly a pretty chill week.
Mm.
It's the aftermath after my birthday, basically again, part two,
Yeah.
and my body is kicking my ass. Like
Yeah.
holy fuck, I'm just tired. My eyes feel like they're sunken in.
Oh
Even
no.
though I'm like sleeping and I'm making sure I'm drinking a lot of water and eating, I was
Mm-hmm.
not eating carbs for like the whole beginning part of Leo season until my birthday. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know why that like messed up my body a little bit. Like I feel like I wasn't
Mm.
regenerating or
Oh.
whatever the fuck.
Do you think that you might be thinking a little bit too hard about that though?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That means yes.
Cuz like when I'm at work, like maybe I am because at work I feel fine and maybe
Mm.
cuz my mind is off of it or something, but
Mm.
like when I'm at home chilling, I'm like, "Damn, why's my back hurt?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, because you can just block all of it out when you're so busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that.
But other than that, it's been pretty good. Chilling,
Mm.
working on artwork. I'm gonna be releasing some new artwork here coming up pretty soon.
Mm.
Planning out my like comic books a little bit more precisely about like how much time I could do it a day in order to get
Oh.
it done in the allotted amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to finish it earlier than the day so I can curate the way that I want to like put it out there.
Ooh,
So I'm
okay.
also have that in my
Let's see.
mind. Let's see what else. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Me and my
Good.
family are doing good. Me and my
Good.
boyfriend are doing good. Like we're
Yay.
good.
Yeah.
You know, Mimi's healthy. My cat Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've
I
been
haven't
coasting,
been.
huh?
Yeah, we've been pretty coasting.
Thank God, after all that drama that happened like a couple weeks before,
What
we're
happened?
finally settling
Oh
in.
yeah, just like with our families and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I know.
Yeah, for real.
Why can't everybody just be chill?
That's what I'm saying. I
It's
don't
okay.
know,
It's
girl.
fine. It's fine. We're
Mm.
past it and we're moving past it.
Yes.
I will say that like with my job, which it will kind of go into today's podcast, I noticed that I have some like residual trauma, I guess. It's not really like that dramatic, but I still
Resentment, maybe.
resentment towards working for other people because I'm very much like
Mm.
I want to be my own boss kind of vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
But I find myself just kind of like throw back a little bit by how nice my current job is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
and I'm
good
kind of like,
problem.
when's the other shoe gonna drop kind of energy.
Oh, I
And
see.
yeah,
You're trying to like think about it kind of negatively.
I guess so because
You're,
my last job was terrible.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I feel that. I mean, yeah, I understand. Okay, I see where you're coming from with the
hmm
trauma now. I see.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think that those are the kinds of people that are gonna like try to fuck you over for no
yeah,
reason. You
because
know
they're
what I
not
mean?
drunk and popping pills.
Yeah, exactly. So
Period. So
yeah.
period. We're in a good place.
Yeah,
God is good.
exactly. We're
Who
moving forward.
And this just goes to show like what boundary settings and what getting yourself out of toxic situations can do for your mental health and what and your
Yes.
emotions. Like you think you're handling it well and you're capable of like you know, looking past certain things, but in actuality, that's not the case. Like you're kind of, it's kind of like denial. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
But how was your week?
It's been good. It's just been pretty much the same. But this past weekend, I also had another friend of mine's birthday. And to be quite honest with you, like, oh, and then also my cousin is about to leave for MIT too.
Nice.
And so the day that he was supposed to have his birthday party, I was at my family's for the whole night pretty much. And then at the end of the night, I was like, I still need to like take care of myself. I need to like go to the gym. I still need to eat like something healthy, and I need to, you know, do my chores. I ended up not doing my chores, and I ended up going to the gym though, but I didn't do like my full lifting routine. I just kind of took a break from lifting all of last week. Yeah, but I still went to the gym and I did like 40 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster every day.
Nice.
So I was like, at least I'm still doing something, and I felt like skinny, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh
shit.
Yeah.
It was the sound effects for me. I was all like, damn, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I felt really skinny, and it felt good, honestly, to take a break from lifting. But now that I'm back into the gym, I'm like, honestly, I think that I needed that week off from like dedicating myself to lifting, because now I feel like I'm still at the same strength level. I don't think that I've lost any like muscle mass or anything just because I've been doing cardio for a week, and I feel a little bit more like ready to go into the gym. And honestly, like I told y'all like in the last episode that I was gonna like, you know, get my shit together, get back into the good habits. I didn't do that.
I lied.
I lied. But at least I can admit it. Okay.
It's harder than it seems to,
it's so
like, for anybody. Like, we might be on soapboxes during this time, but honestly, like, we understand how difficult it is, and we're not asking the world from y'all. So.
No, of course. It's just that we do understand though, like how to get to that point. It's just difficult to act on it. You know what I mean? And I found difficulty in acting on those habits because I've just been mentally exhausted from learning so many new things each day, all week last week, and then all week this week is just consistent, like new thing every day. Like we're not even practicing any of our old things. We're not like, you know, doing a project to, you know, hammer in those new techniques and skills. It's just like we're constantly in lecture all day long. That's why I just feel so tired, so sluggish. But
you're focusing and you're like trying to absorb everything.
Exactly.
That's why good note-taking skills are important.
Yes.
During schooling.
Exactly. And I think that I have gotten a little bit better at it, but I do need to get a little more better at it. Yeah, but I think it's more of just I need practice, because like as a developer, you're not going to learn all of everything within the language. Like that's just improbable. So it's just about like learning the syntax and learning like the vocabulary in order to Google it. Or ChatGPT, whatever.
Right. Okay.
I still haven't used AI yet, so I'm very proud of myself.
AI's coming. It's the way of the future. You know?
Well, I guess, but people still need to rely on their brain power, because apparently AI is only like it's at the computing like speed and power of like a college student currently, which is a lot better than, you know, it was before when it first started, like literally a couple of years ago. But, you know, I'm not a college student. I am bigger and more adulty and more mature. Right. And I have to realize that I have to count on myself, not just like a robot to tell me like how to do my job. You know what I mean? Right. So I've been good though. It feels nice to just be focusing on school, and I got my food stamps in, so that's really amazing. It feels good. I'm learning how to budget with that as well. But yeah, I feel like I'm just getting into my like mood to, I don't know, do things the way that I want to do things, make sure that everything is like, you know, as presentable as possible. Just really honing in on my skill set in order for me to progress further into my career. Right. And like I'm learning how to present myself to professionals as well.
Oh, that's good.
And I like that part because I think that I have a good way of speaking to professionals.
Sagittarius things.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah, I feel good. I feel good. A little tired, but I feel great nonetheless.
A little
Everything's
tired.
going
I feel
well.
that bitch.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm just so sleepy.
Yeah, I feel that.
I know you
Leo
always
season is
sleepy.
exhausted. Leo
Hmm.
season is
And
exhausted.
it's hot as fuck outside
Yeah, it's
right
also
now.
really fucking hot. That doesn't help.
Woo! It
I
does
can't
not.
wait for fucking fall again. Oh my
Please.
god.
It doesn't come soon enough
It
though.
really
Not
doesn't. Like
here.
September, the end of September, if we're
It
lucky.
may
If
be.
we're lucky.
Maybe.
I
Maybe
know.
like in October. The last year it was starting to get a little chilly, like a little bit before Halloween,
A
but
little
that was
bit.
it,
Yeah.
literally. Mm-mm.
Ah.
I hate you. Oops, sorry.
Fine.
So today for our thoughts that think segment, thoughts that
I know we need to have like a little ad
right.
lib in the background.
I will. I'll make a transition, like little.
That'd be so cute.
That'll be cute. So for thoughts that think today, we're going over boundaries. Yes. So boundaries. Angel actually wanted to also bring up this topic.
Yes.
For the past all of them, honestly, he has been wanting to.
My bad.
No, it's good.
I just
because
have
you're rolling the
ideas and
ball.
I'm all like, let's roll with it. You know what I mean?
I think that it all like goes hand in hand with each other too. So
Yeah, that's like I like
feel like
blending
it's
the
good.
episodes so that if people are gonna like binge watch us, then it,
it just moves straight
flows in. Like
Yeah.
episodic a little bit.
Exactly.
The first thing I would like to ask though is like, what are your boundaries?
It's different for any and every relationship that I have,
Right.
honestly. So I guess like for my friends, because that is the most prominent relationship in my life currently, other than my family. My friends, I used to be a really big people pleaser. Obviously, I used to say yes to everything all the time. I would exhaust myself by taking more shifts, in a professional sense, by going to all these parties, going out for lunch, for dinner, going out for happy hour. I would be spending so much money, financially. I would be buying shots for people, buying a whole round of drinks for everyone. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Like, I used to be like bala shot kala, and like I used to be making that much money, but nowadays I'm like, why did I do that? Like, I spent so much money in the past just to like appease people or to like, I don't know, to make them like me,
Are
or
you still
what was
friends
I
with
even
any of those
doing?
people still?
I mean, a good amount of them for sure, but it's
Okay.
not even like because I was doing that for them that's why they're still my friend. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they're still my friend because they like me for who I am, and like, I provide more beneficial things for their mentality than I do physicality, you know? But I think that being a former people pleaser, now that I understand how to say no, I think that is like the number one boundary that I have, is just learning to say no to people, especially if I'm not feeling it. Like, nowadays, I will cancel my plans if I don't feel like going out that day. If I don't feel like responding to a text message, or if I'm just too exhausted, if I can't even hold a conversation, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even feel like journaling right now. Like, that's how exhausted I am. I'm just like, man, I just want to like take care of my shit, do my projects, and then go to bed. And then I'll
Right.
wake up, do the same thing over again the next day. So I think that me being able to say no to people when they want to hang out, or when we've already made plans, I feel very bad when, especially if I've already made plans to hang out with that person that day. But the friends that I have right now, they understand where I'm coming from,
Right.
and these are the friends that are going to stay by my side, even though I'm going through like this kind of, not troublesome, but just like a busy time of my life.
Right.
They're very understanding. And just like you, just like, my friend Paige, just like all of my other friends who are on their grind too, you know what I mean? Like, they all understand that we have our own lives, and that when we see each other, we'll see each other,
Exactly.
and that's what where truly boundaries come from, is understanding the relationship that you have with these people, and understanding that they should understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And if they don't, how can you communicate that with them? You know, how can you tell them, like, these are my boundaries as a friend? You know what I mean? And like, I think that every time in my adult life now, I have been able to talk to a lot of my friends that I currently still have very earnestly and honestly whenever we first like approached each other and being friends, that I'm like that kind of person that needs her time to away from people to recharge her battery, that needs time away from like her phone to, you know, recharge her battery.
Yeah.
And especially after all of the things that have been going on in my life, all of the unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, I
No,
feel
for real
like,
though.
you know what I mean? I feel like people have been a little bit more understanding towards like, and being patient towards me and my situations, just because simply of they understand like where I've been and what has been done
Mm.
to me, and like my mentality.
Do you feel like if you didn't go through all that, like people would still have the same mentality towards you?
I think a good amount of them would, just because I know that who they are as people.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that there's a couple of people that would be like, oh, you're just making excuses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just kind of like, well, I've always kind of had a depressed mind state. And it was also a lot of it was due to me being on hormonal birth control pills. And now I feel like 10,000 times better, but I'm still exhausted. You know what I mean?
Who is
I'm
it?
still exhausted. And that exhaustion can come out in the form of like sadness, depression, or anger even. You know, like I can get frustrated pretty easily if I don't have enough sleep, if I don't eat you know, the right amount of food or eat the right foods. I'm gonna get grumpy, I'm gonna get sad, I get a little cryy,
Right, right.
you
Little
know.
cryy.
A little
Cancer moon.
cryy. Yeah, I do, I'm emotional.
Mm. I think that's good
But
that you have those boundaries with your friends, because I feel like it's impossible to like spend, like, I feel like when I was younger, like especially in college, people would want to hang out every day, like
yes,
see each other every day. And I'm all
yes.
like,
And I love y'all.
I
Thank you
love y'all
so
so
much.
much, but
Thank you. Thank you so much for wanting to hang out with me. Thank you for inviting me out. That makes me feel so included. I would love it if you would keep doing it. And I'm sorry if I say no every time.
right, every
I'm
time.
so sorry. I'm just so tired right now. But like, it's just because it's a busy time. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be patient with my friends too. If they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm working, like, but I miss you. I love you. And I'm like, okay, well, cool.
Yeah, just like a little message here and there is fine. I
You
love
know
it. A
what I
little
mean?
phone call never hurt.
You know? Yeah.
So you would say your boundaries are like, okay, I need my space and time in order to get my shit done. Would you say that's the same kind of boundaries that you set for your relationships, like your romantic relationships?
I would say nowadays, yes. I used to have really bad boundaries with my relationships because I was a people pleaser, and especially towards the person that was the closest to me, which was my significant other. I would let them rule my time. I would wait for them, you know, to come back home. I would basically not have any friends. I didn't have a relationship with my friends whenever I had a significant other, or like, you know, I had a couple of guys that, you know, I was talking to, or I was in a situation with, that they wanted to hang out with me every day. And it's like, okay, cool. I like hanging out with you too, but there has to be a time when this isn't like cool anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be my only one and only friend, and like your friends can't be my only friends. You know, like I have other very significant, important people in my life that I want to keep up with.
Right.
And for you to kind of get upset at me for like keeping these relationships with these other people who have been in my life longer than you have been, actually, you know, like,
Period.
I should be able to have those relationships and keep them, and for you to not have an issue with me keeping those relationships. I
What would you
think
tell your younger self, like in that mindset?
I would say live your life for yourself, girl.
Period.
There is no way that you can control what anybody else does. The more that you try to control, the more that you try to, you know, impose your beliefs on how a relationship should be on your significant other, it's not going to work out. Like it's going to end up in shambles, because at the end of the day, you two have very different viewpoints on like relationships, and especially romantic relationships and intimate relationships, that it's just not gonna, it's not, you're not gonna end up on the same page as this person. You might love each other so much, and you might have a really long history with this person that you care so much for, but at the end of the day, if you really care for them, if you really care about yourself and your own future, then you should be able to find it in your heart to let go of that kind of relationship, because what they're going to be doing, it's not going to service you. In fact, it's going to make you feel even shittier about yourself, about your own purpose in life, and you'll even lose your purpose in life because you're giving up so much of your own self, your own time, your own care for yourself for somebody else.
Right.
And for what? Why are you going to lose your whole self? You are a whole human being with your own mind, your own soul, your own heart. Why are you trying to fucking mind meld, you know what I mean? Like brain blast yourself into this other fucking human being that doesn't even have the same values, beliefs, like love languages as you do. And it's important to remember that like everybody is not the same. The people that you end up loving will probably not have the same love languages as you. You know, they might not even recognize what kind of love languages you have. Like they might even have a different way of communicating that affection. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I do love physical affection. You know what I mean? I used to really enjoy it, but nowadays I'm like, okay, well, now I kind of just want the occasional like handhold, but I don't want you to be like fucking making out with me in front of everybody and like, you know what I mean? Like
I would be like
fondling me and shit. Yeah, exactly. Stop. I used to be that kind of like girl. Not with the nasty stank pies.
Poor. I'm just kidding. No slut shaming here. No slut shaming here.
I was a little hoe, but only for my man. But nowadays I'm like, okay, well, I have boundaries with that too. You know, like I don't want you to show me so much physical affection that it's going to make everybody around us uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, and that's exactly who my late boyfriend used to be, was so that he could show like some kind of possessiveness over me. And so now I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, I don't really like that. I don't like when guys are like super duper like, it's okay if you're a little jealous to me, because I feel like that's kind of a natural thing for human beings, especially human beings that want to be monogamous. I think that's a totally relatable feeling. I've felt it so much before, but I also think that too much of it can be very, very ugly, and like almost to the point where it's just like going to hinder you as a person, because that's not who I am. I'm not ugly on the inside. Like I'm not here to harbor hatred or be upset at anybody for the particular reason of like I want to control who looks at them and who likes them and who they're looking at. Like I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I used to be that kind of girl, but that's
grown out of that.
Yeah.
Good.
It's very childish.
I'm glad. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a maturity issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I agree with you on everything that you've said, like about the boundaries, especially when it comes to like friendship and even the relationship, like romantic relationship. Like you don't get to dictate over who I hang out with. I mean, if they're toxic, you know, please tell me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, 5,000% I will.
But like if they're adding to me in a good way and they're like motivating me to do something that maybe you don't agree with because you think it's like annoying or stupid or something, like
I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself.
Best to just stay out of it.
It's best to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. The nicest way possible. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, yeah.
Okay, I like that so far. Cute.
What about you? Do you think that you have any boundaries in your friendships that you don't want to be crossed currently?
My boundaries for my friendships are definitely like the time thing, just because I'm very busy. I don't like anybody to like assume that we're very close friends, especially like with the coworker thing. Like I feel like a lot of coworkers throughout my times in the service industry have kind of pushed to want to be really good friends, but it's just like they want it to be like an overnight thing. And it's just
Oh,
kind of like I don't really operate like that. Like
yeah.
I've had like all the friends that I did have were from like high school, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
wow.
And so they were like relationships that were built over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been the type of person to like kind of latch on to somebody, I would
Oh,
say.
I feel that.
Yeah, and if I did, it was because out of like desperation of, you know, want to be part of something new, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, in those situations, I would still not hang out with them every day. Like I would see them at work every day and give them like a hug or something. Like, oh hey
Yeah.
girl, nice to see you. How you doing today? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you're not gonna be there when I'm
Be
like
right.
old and dying, probably.
I hope not.
Hope not. Like I would say, like our relationship, like we've known each other like 3 years now, about
Yeah.
almost coming. We moved in July, so almost 4.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
Stop.
like even our
Stop.
relationship, like it's built up like over time, and I would say like we
Mm-hmm.
would be friends for like the rest of our lives, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The last person I said that about, we were friends for like 8 years, 7 years.
Damn. I mean, that's still a pretty good amount of time, but
Yes.
I feel like we're also adults though now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. And you know that relationship, that friendship has ended
Oh.
basically. So it's kind of like you think that you'll be with somebody till the end, and then actually that's not the case. So,
Yeah.
but that's because that person was crossing some boundaries, like making
Mm.
me uncomfortable or like putting
Ooh.
me in situations I don't want to be in. You know what I mean?
Oh
But those are
yeah.
just like basic, like don't fuck up my vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like boundary.
But I honestly, I think that we should talk about those as well because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand boundaries. A lot of people are kind of like where we came from, where we're people
People
pleasers,
pleasers.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where we don't have boundaries unless they say we should
I'm
have
just gonna say
boundaries.
this: like, if your feelings are hurt, if they are insulting you in any type of way, if they are like coming for you in like some kind of like, whoa, where did this come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just don't fuck with that person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
slowly wean them off.
Period.
And then
Yeah.
if they're like I remember I was weaning myself off of one friend, and they were like, yeah, you don't like hanging out with me anymore, so I don't even know why we're friends. And I was like, that's crazy. And then we stopped talking after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you're like, that's crazy.
I'm just gonna jig out of here real quick. Like,
Not the.
yeah, because like if you were making me uncomfortable or like
Mm-hmm.
not respecting me as like your friend, or like
Ooh.
even just have basic respect for anybody else in your life, then I'm kind of like done with this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Like if all you're doing is shit talking and like putting negative energy out into the universe, then what are you like? Nobody can benefit from that.
Yeah.
Like nobody feels good after doing all that shit talking. You know what I mean? Like, and if you do feel good after all that shit talking, then who are you really? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you should really think about that. If you feel good about like gossiping about other people, talking about other people behind their backs,
Right.
like if you wouldn't say it to their face, then don't say it at all.
Period.
Everything that I say, that everything that comes out of my mouth, I would say it in front of anybody and everybody, probably,
Mm-hmm. Fire signs.
maybe.
I would say like I'm more talking to the people who are like suffering from abusive friendships or
Mm,
relationships. Like, don't try to fix anybody.
no,
Just don't do it. Like, it's better to just like say your pieces, like peace out, basically is what I'm trying to say, and like let them deal with those emotions that come with you,
exactly,
like them losing you, basically. And
exactly.
that's going to speak more volumes, and they might actually make changes by realizing that they lost a friend because of their behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So those are what good boundaries are. Like, you're not dropping them.
Exactly.
Like, don't think about it as like you're abandoning them,
Mm-hmm.
or like you're treating them like trash, you're just throwing them away. People have told me that whenever they're disrespecting me,
Okay.
and then I slowly wean them off. Like, I do that little thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're all like, you treat me like trash. Like, and I'm all like, I'm just
That's
treating
their
you the
ego.
way you treated me. Like, and even I'm treating you better than the way you treated me by just doing
Damn.
a little jig out. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, especially if you're not like a fucking psychiatrist, you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be like trying to fix anybody or trying to like make them your project.
There
Like,
you
just
go.
do the jig out and like let them deal with those emotions, because you're
Exactly.
not qualified.
Yes.
Like, that's the first thing I had to learn as a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
You are not qualified to deal with anybody's psyche,
That's true.
anybody's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just need to let go of that.
Yep. even if you might love this person so much, even if you have long like a whole history with this person, sometimes it's just not worth it, because it's like whether about they want to change or not, you know, whether they're going to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like if they're not going to be like in that mood to change, then they're never going to change.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If they haven't changed once before, then what makes you think that they're going to change later down the line, you know?
And you could think about it like you're kind of like enabling them a little bit.
Exactly. And like it should honestly just be about you. Like your life should just be about you. Like how everybody says whenever you break up with somebody, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's going to be more. There's going to be others. There are people that are the same age as us, like, you know, millions of people. People who even are like not in this country, people who don't speak the same language. They might like be intrigued by you. They might want to talk to you. There's other people that want to not only just be with you side by your side, but also be with you like for forever. You know what I mean? And especially if you grew up with these people, you can grow out of them too. Don't
Yes.
shrink to match other people and their energies.
That's nice.
Like,
I love that.
you know what I mean? I love that quote where people are like, don't shrink, you know what I mean? Like you make sure that you grow. If you that's where you want to go, then grow. Period.
On cue.
Yes. And I feel
That was
like
beautiful. I love that.
I feel like that's like where I kind of came from with my friendships as well, because I had such a hard time growing up, like making friends and keeping them. And I really didn't honestly know why. I had no idea why. I was like,
Probably because you're a weirdo.
I was a weirdo. I know I was.
I know. We were in the same boat, honestly. I was like, why don't I have any friends? Because I'm weird.
But it's also just because of like the place that I grew up in and like the people that I grew up around. It was like a predominantly white neighborhood, a predominantly like, you know, not culturally inviting
I
kind
feel
of
that growing
place.
gay in like a Catholic household and a Catholic high school. Like I
You
was just
know?
like not.
The things that I liked,
wasn't
the
in
things
there.
that like I was into, it was like, and I also was raised by my 2 older brothers, so I wasn't like super girly. I was more of like a tomboy kind of girl. I was a little chubby. I like didn't know how to take care of myself because nobody was around to like teach me how to take care of myself.
Hygienically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
and
remember us talking about that.
yeah, just in general, just didn't know how to take care of myself, and like my mindset especially started dwindling. And in that middle school, like I had like 3 best friends and we would all hang out all the time. And then eventually, like I don't even know what had happened, what triggered the event, but one of my friends just didn't like me anymore, and then she like didn't want to be my friend anymore. And since then I've forgiven her. She's forgiven me for whatever I've done. I don't know exactly what, but you know, no hard feelings, no harm done,
Yeah, y'all
but
were
a little bit
kids.
of harm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now I have no idea like if these people that I'm friends with are actually being genuine with me. And the person that I first became like truly like a best friend with, she ended up just not, I don't know, she ended up growing into this like habit of falling in love with people that were older, that would give her attention but wouldn't give her direct attention, would kind of lead her on, but she kind of liked that chase. And she was also in the middle of like transitioning as well, and like I'd never wanted her to think that I didn't want to be her friend because of that fact, but it's because of the fact that like we've had all this time to grow. She wasn't there for me whenever my late boyfriend had passed. She didn't want to be there for me because of who he was. But even though I'm her best friend, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like, oh man, like
I wasn't even your friend.
you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
And you were still there, like literally the day like after his funeral shit. Like I was like, oh, I don't know what I do.
Ugh.
And you're all like, yeah, literally.
Nah, it wasn't like that.
No,
it
you
was
weren't.
It was a beautiful moment, I felt.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
good
It was
moment
very
to start
nice.
off a friendship.
Honestly.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, for real. But she also was just like asking me for like monetary help,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like for me to go and pick her up, even though I was like busy, and you know, like I don't know, she would like hit me up, you know, whenever
She
I
was
was
dependent on
busy.
you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like she had the means to take care of herself, but instead she would take those means and blow it on the person who she had the most affection for at the time. And it wouldn't be to pay me back. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be to like, you know, make them feel any better about themselves. It would just be to make her feel good about herself, like giving them something. You know what I mean?
Dang. Out there doing good.
I hope they're doing
Their
good as
mental
well.
health sounded like they needed so much help, honestly.
She did.
But like I said, you're not qualified to deal with a person like that. Like,
exactly. And I think that she understood because I like stopped responding to her text messages. I didn't like have her on my social media anymore. I unadded them, and I was just like, it's not a thing of like I don't like you anymore, I hate you or anything. It's just more of like we've grown out of each other's like presence and like
we're not
friendship.
a good match right now,
Exactly.
unfortunately. Maybe you never know. Like friendships can always rekindle.
Yeah,
that's what I always hold out for my old best friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like I still have a lot of love for him. That's something also important I would like to say, is that you're never gonna stop loving somebody. Like, you can't tell yourself, I'm gonna stop loving you. You know what I mean? That's not how it works.
Yes,
you're gonna continue to love them, and you're gonna always love them.
Exactly.
But it's about what's important for yourself, and what's important for them is that they need to focus on themselves, and you being there, you helping them is not gonna do anything for both of y'all.
Exactly.
So,
and especially if you're young, like take your relationship, like don't think that the end of a relationship is like the end of your life or the end of, you know, an era or whatever. It's just a change, and it's a change that you should get comfortable with, because people are going to come in and out of your life.
yes.
Hopefully, on average, you know, knock on wood, that, you know, you you are alive on this earth for 80 years or so, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like life expectancy wise. And you, like 80 years is a long time. You're not going to have the same one best friend for those 80 years. And if you do, oh my God, congratulations. That's amazing,
That's
honestly. Crazy. But for me to even think about that, I can't even say that, because not even my mom's going to be here for all of my 80 years on earth. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just like think that as you grow, the more that you find your boundaries. Like before, I was a people pleaser because I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't tell people no. Same. I didn't know how to anyway.
Same. And
then after I was treated absolutely like shit, that's when I finally learned about boundaries. Not because I just didn't have a role model for myself. You know, I didn't have a mom that could say no. I didn't have a dad, or, you know what I mean, to tell me, no, you can't do this because of this, you know? Like, I never had a role model specifically to base my actions and my, like, relationships off of. At least not healthy ones. And so whenever I got into my first, like, real relationship, I was physically and verbally abused by him. And that was, like, a big turning point for me. I was like, I can never let myself get in a situation like this ever again. So the basic boundaries of, I will not be around somebody who will resort to physical violence. That is one of the most basic human understandings of boundaries that anyone should have. No kind of verbal or physical assault of any kind should be in the mix of any kind of relationship. Yeah. Unless you are going to like a kickboxing gym or Krav Maga or some self-defense class. That is the only time that physical assault should be
applied.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Allowed.
Oh God.
Like
what sorry, the next question.
No, you're good.
But were you gonna finish?
No, that was pretty much it.
Oh, okay. Don't be hitting people.
Yeah, the fuck.
The very end of it. Don't be hitting people.
And respect people.
Yeah, like don't lay your hands on me. That was something I hated. I hated being touched and like hurt. I hate feeling the pain. I hate feeling pain. Why are you gonna
even
hurt
a pinch? Even a pinch.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Don't fucking pinch me.
Don't touch me.
And did you know that it's also physical assault to spit on somebody?
Yes. That's assault.
That's
assault. I know
assault.
because my grandpa did that on a lady, and the lady was all like, "That's fucking assault."
Yep.
And then that was fun.
That was fun.
What do you do if somebody rejects your boundaries? That's a very good one to lead into.
Ooh, walk away. I would try to walk away as much as possible. If they don't let me walk away, like my ex-boyfriend didn't, then I would call the cops.
Period.
Because I mean that was a pretty big like boundary to cross with a physical assault kind of boundary. But I mean I know that not everything is like that extreme.
Yeah.
So if it were something a little bit more timid, more like, oh well, we're not friend, like it kind of fucking sucks that you don't want to talk to me every day, you know, like, or oh, why didn't you show up to my first birthday party kind of thing, or like not even respond to our text messages, then I would be like, well, I apologize that might have hurt your feelings, but I also have my own life. I have a lot of things going on in my own life. My life does not revolve around you. I am very sorry about that.
I love you to pieces.
I'm very sorry about that.
I love you to pieces.
I still love you, and I would still love to be your friend, but I also have my own life.
Right.
I have my own standard of living, and I need to take care of myself before I can take care of anybody else.
Period.
You know?
Good.
What about you?
I think that's it.
Would
That's
you?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Fuck 'em.
All right. Well,
Nah.
cut. No, just kidding.
This episode's over.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. If they reject my boundaries, then I'm kind of like, oh well, you know what I mean, a little bit. Like
You
I'm
know?
kind of like, well,
What can I do?
I don't know. Like I grew out of my people pleasing. Maybe like about the time that we met a little bit, like I still have problems with it every now and again. Like I'll notice I like lie about certain things, but that's because I don't want to like hurt people's feelings or like anything like that.
I understand. I'm
Yeah.
kind of same.
Yeah.
Just
So I'm still
sometimes.
working on that, the honesty part, but like I'll be like for example, like I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't go to the thing because of this." In actuality, I was just sleepy.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds
But
pretty much
if somebody were to reject it like completely, like I'm sorry. Like I probably wouldn't even respond if you're going to like
yeah, right.
be like that, honestly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like but I'm not sorry. I have to like protect myself.
I don't want to feel shitty about myself because I decided to have standards for my own life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
my whole life, I've been struggling with not making my life about other people. And
Yes.
for you to kind of like tear that part of me down, it makes me feel like I'm being a shitty friend by not being there for you. But at the same time, I have to realize that that's not on me. Those are your feelings. I can't be considering both yours and my feelings all of the time. You know,
It's
like
exhausting.
it's so exhausting.
You don't
Like,
pay my bills.
Exactly.
You do
I'm
not pay my bills.
sorry.
I feel like that's why it's easier to create boundaries when you're an adult
Mm-hmm.
because you have more responsibilities that depend on you.
Yes.
When you're a child, it's kind of or like a young adult,
Mm-hmm.
it's harder to set boundaries because I mean it's not hard for everybody, but it's harder to set boundaries because you don't have as much responsibility.
Exactly.
You know, that's something I struggled with was creating boundaries, and I would let people kind of walk all over me, but it's because I really didn't feel like there was anything at real risk. You know,
okay.
which nowadays it's kind of like I can't spend time with you because if I don't get sleep, then I'm not going to be at my full joyfulness tomorrow because at
Right.
work. You know what I mean? And
okay.
that's like required for me to get like tips and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It's
Or
true.
like even an artist, like coming from an artist standpoint to my other artists, like you have to create like a vibe for yourself in order to get into the artist mindset and to create artwork. And if somebody's going to pollute that, it's going to throw off a week. You know what I mean? And you just can't have that happening. Like you got to be very defensive when it comes to your creative, I guess, boundaries. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you have to protect your aura a little bit,
Yes.
your vibe.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, like your whole artwork, your whole week is kind of like
Damn.
done with. And it takes a while to get that vibe back because they might destroy you like emotionally because you're being a bad friend or whatever, and then all of a sudden your like artwork is coming out shitty because in the back of your mind you're thinking you're a shitty friend. If that
Damn.
makes sense, instead of focusing on like what your core values are for getting your artwork out there.
Yeah, exactly.
From an artist standpoint. Excuse me.
Do you think that you have healthy boundaries in your relationship with Merlin?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like I think I do. I just value him a lot when it comes to his opinion. And I think he does voice his opinion very heavily with his Aries energy.
Makes sense.
But I like that about him. It's just like, I'm a Virgo moon, I'm a Leo, so my ego, you know what I mean? And I have to respect that what he is saying, he's saying from his heart, and he's saying with all of himself. And I find that very, what's the word? Valuable, especially when it comes to creating artwork. Like he might not say it in the best way. You know, he's made me cry before, you know, when it comes to, from his like critiques and stuff.
I don't know.
But
Drama
it's
belly.
necessary. I know drama.
Yeah.
It's necessary to make good artwork. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like critiques, they're not always going to be good. And as a Leo, like I sometimes need to let go of that ego, especially when it comes to like thinking that this is actually the best way to tell this story, or this is the best design, you know, when in actuality it could be improved upon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see
Which,
that.
you know, coming from a young artist to like an adult artist, like that needed to be broken down because I wasn't accepting any advice, even from my professors and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see.
So that obviously needed to go, which, you know, that's the only part of our like boundaries that I would say is like could be troublesome sometime, but it's because of the ego and then also the way that he presents his critiques as well.
Oh, okay.
So both
I
of those
see.
clashing is not going to do well.
I see.
You know?
Yeah.
And then 2 fire signs, you know, like what's
Yeah.
going to happen, you know what I mean?
Drama.
But I love him and I love his critiques, and I think that he has really good taste and he has really good stories to tell, and I want to cultivate that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And everything else, like he's a really good friend, like to me, like he keeps me accountable for myself, and he's very responsible, and you know, that's an example of like a relationship that we've built together compared to how we were beforehand. We've been together 8 years now, I want to say.
Wow.
On and off, you know. This time we've been together 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years almost. Oh yeah, we've known each other 4 years. So 3 years.
So 3 years, yeah.
Wow. And it's been going great. Like this is our most like solid time that we've been together. So I love him.
That's awesome.
It definitely wasn't like that in the past, and I've had to cut him off. He's had to cut me off. You know what I mean? Because we just weren't in the right energies.
Exactly.
We both come from Latino backgrounds, and that comes with its own challenges as well.
Very much so.
Especially like in a gay couple. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
So. But I love seeing like where our relationship's going, because we're not people that are gonna settle for less.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's what I really value about him, is that like some people will settle for less and protect my feelings when my feelings don't need to be protected. You know, like I'm not like a fucking baby.
My artwork matters.
Yeah, my artwork and my growth matters to me, and I value that more than my ego and my emotions.
Nice.
I guess, which might be a little toxic, but you know.
No,
At the
not
cost
really.
of great art.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the problem with most artists, is that their ego gets in the way a lot of them like progressing as artists. You know what I mean?
I know a lot of artists that like their ego is like
they're like
definitely
that.
keeping them at ground zero.
Damn.
Or plateauing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they might find a niche, but how long is that niche gonna last? You know, that's why I like Gendy. I always can never say his last name, but it's Gendy Tarkovsky. It's like German. I need a.
Yeah. All right.
I always look it up to see how to say it, and then I always forget the next time I'm gonna say it. But it's
okay.
fine.
It's okay.
That guy, he's the guy that made Samurai Jack. He made.
Yes. Yeah.
He's always coming out with new stuff all the time, and it's so different. Like, and you can tell that he's growing as an artist constantly. And I can't just think that it's all him. Like, he obviously has a support system that like guides him and like protects him.
Has to.
Also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of following his trail a little bit until I'm able to kind of like blaze off into my own trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But until then,
That's
you
really
know,
cool.
you know. But what was the question? I forgot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I actually
boundaries.
have a different question now.
Ooh.
Because I think you brought up a really good point. Culturally, do you think that made a difference on your boundaries?
Yes, because my parents are very like, They have good boundaries now, but back then I would say that their boundaries were not that good, you know,
It was like
especially
toxic, right?
very toxic.
Yeah.
Like, God bless them, I love them, but they've definitely grown into better people.
Yes.
Um,
This is coming from two first generation Americans
mhm.
when our
I mean, my
parents
go ahead.
were immigrants. Or your parents were immigrants?
No, my parents,
Oh.
my family has been in Texas like
Oh.
for generations.
Oh, okay.
But I was the first person to go to college and actually get a higher education and
Oh.
do better than
Okay.
my grandpa was on drugs. You know,
Oh,
my
okay, I
grandma
see.
grew up on a farm.
Oh,
My
okay.
grandpa would talk about picking cotton and he would get paid 25 cents.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
So first generation college student. I'm a first generation
you're actually a first
American.
generation American, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But like that's something that Asian culture has, and then Mexican culture is like, or like Latino culture is like, we've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that
Exactly.
other people put us down
Mm-hmm.
because you know they're trying to build themselves up.
Exactly. And
Yes.
because you are of a different race or ethnicity, I guess, that's why they look down on you because they think that, oh, well, you haven't been here this whole time. And I'm like, well, bitch, you haven't been here this whole time either. The
Yeah,
fuck? You're from
that's
Europe.
on y'all. That's y'all's
Yeah, what
battle.
the heck? Yeah.
I'm all like, I've been here.
Yeah.
Like when people like, I remember this one kid in high school told me to go back. He was like this white kid who just transferred in from like some white state or something.
Oh, Lord.
And he was all like, just go
Not
back
that.
where you're from. And I was all like, what
I'm
the
from here,
heck?
bitch.
That's
What?
crazy. That's crazy that you say
That's
that.
crazy.
That's crazy. What was his name? His name was Taint.
Taint.
Literally. Tate. Tate.
Oh.
I called him Taint.
I was like, no. No way his parents named him
No. I called him Taint. I remember that. My bad. Maybe that's why he told me to go back.
Well, if you started it first, and that means that he
Nah,
came
fuck
from
that kid.
Nah.
I remember he put like wrappers in my like hoodie one time, like, and I was just like, I don't fuck with this dude. Like, get away from me. I was like, do you like me or something? Are you?
Stop.
'Cause-
Not you exploring your sexuality.
Hey,
Teens.
literally that.
That's
High school was a
hilarious.
trip, honestly.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that's where it comes from, like, in an ethnic standpoint. Just a little background about our families, I guess. Like, my family has been here. But there was like very much like this toxic aura, and my parents were very much like, well, we're gonna get ourselves out of this situation and try to grow for our children. So that's why we were able to like grow to the point of, and they did their best, you know what I mean? They like became financially successful towards the end when I was finally moving out. It just like they focused so much on that it kind of ruined their own relationship, you know, like at the cost. They got us out of poverty at the cost of their own relationships. You know what I mean?
Finances is always like a really big harbinger of
Because your
like
parents
the
also
end of
divorced.
relationships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of that
exactly.
stuff.
They did. And I mean, like, they had a lot of success as well at the very beginning of when they first started their restaurant business. But then it just kind of like spiraled down because the both of them kind of slipped into really bad habits with that money. It's kind of like when you are in poverty and you finally have that money, like you're supposed to start like, investing, and you're supposed to do some smart stuff, budgeting and stuff with it still. Even though you have so much money, you shouldn't be spending it like you have $1 million now. But they acted like that, and so that was ultimately their downfall because well, my dad also has a vice of gambling, and him gambling kind of led to us losing a lot more money than anticipated. Literally, like the savings that I had for my college funds, it was depleted by the time that I was in high school. And I was literally like my mom was asking my father like for child support and like how is Audrey gonna go to college? She wants to do this and that. And he's like, well, she's gonna have to figure it out, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll figure it out. So that's why I moved out
Oh
of my
my
house
gosh,
so
that's
quick.
so annoying.
So
God.
quick. I was like, bye, fine.
Like,
So,
okay, my life fell apart. Like, I had it good and then I let it fall apart. So let me make everybody's life fucking hell too.
you know what I mean? He took most of the stuff from the divorce as well. But my mom, she like told me just like last week, I guess, that she was very regretful that she didn't fight more for more
She was just tired
during
of
the
it, huh?
divorce. Yeah. And I mean, 25, 26 years with the same guy that, kind of disrespects you and
That's so much
disrespects your
time. That's so
family.
much time.
You know what I mean? I remember like walking into my mom and my dad's room because I was supposed to be switching rooms with them, and she had left a note for my dad on the kit or on their bathroom
Tea.
sink. Yeah, on their bathroom sink, and she's like, "Yesterday was our wedding anniversary of 25 years, and for fucking what? Like, this is some bullshit that you didn't even come back home at all yesterday." And I was just like,
Ooh.
ooh. Like,
He was dropping the ball. He was dropping the
I
ball.
think I was like 9 or 10 at the time, and I read that and I was like, ooh.
Oh my gosh.
And after that note, my dad would always be sleeping on the couch, but he would always get back home at like 3 in the morning. And I remember I would like go downstairs to go get water at like 4 in the morning, and he'd be like just laying down there, like watching TV, or he'd be asleep and the TV would still be on. I'm just like, damn, dude,
Damn, dude.
this is pretty bad. Like,
Looking back at that, that doesn't sound good at all.
you know what I
Jeez.
mean? Nah. And that's why I was just like, I didn't have healthy boundaries like for such a long time because my mom allowed herself to be treated in such a
I was gonna say,
way.
like, how do you? Sorry, continue. But I'll ask my question after.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, she allowed herself to be treated in such a way where, like, her love language wasn't even being explored at that time. Like, he didn't even care. He didn't even want to care for her. And like, he would say that he loves us, he loves our family, and like that why he's working is because it's for us. But at the end of the day, like, wouldn't you want to come back home to your family then instead of like going out to drink with your brothers or your cooks at the end of the night? Like,
Right. It sounds
stop
like he was
buying,
valuing something a little bit more than.
you know what I mean? Like, I figured out very early in my life that, like, just because of how negligent my mom and my dad were of us children, I think more specifically towards me because I had less of them involved in my life than my brothers have since they're both older than me. I think that it was very detrimental to like the way that I thought about love, the way that I thought about friendships, the way that I thought about just relationships in general, because I never really had positive role models for people to look up to. Like, not even my
Exactly.
brothers. My brothers never really had like good relationships with their friends. Like, my brother Derek had a really good relationship with like one of his friends. He only ever had like one best friend and not really many residual friends, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And my brother Evan, like, he has really great friends. Like, he had really amazing friends, but he would treat them like shit. Like, he wouldn't treat them the way that they wanted to be treated. He would just try to like buy people off, and it's just not the way that, you know, the world worked at that time. Like, we're just kids. We're not supposed to be buying people off to like be friends with them or whatever. And like, yeah, that'll get you so far, but it'll only get you so far.
right.
But I think that out of all of those, role models, I think that I became a well-adjusted adult. Well-adjusted.
Getting there.
Still a drama mama.
Getting there.
Still have too loud of a laugh.
Period. Fucking spiking your shit into
But
red.
yeah, I know, right? Stop looking. Stop
My bad.
looking.
My bad.
Anyway, I'll turn the computer away.
There's the camera.
But yeah, I just think that it it really makes a difference, like, who you grow up around and
Yes.
who you have to look forward to seeing day by day. And especially with our parents, like, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with such toxicity in your life, because that also probably affected your relationships as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In short, yes. That was gonna be my question. Like,
Mm-hmm.
did it in your adulthood, did you like analyze kind of like your parents' own boundaries and where they kind of failed with theirs, and like how
Definitely.
instead of learning from that and doing better, you kind of like it just reinforced your own negative boundary or non-boundary setting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, yes, because like
Yeah, my answer, yes.
they didn't have any boundaries, and like they would just be screaming, yelling, and eventually got physically violent with each other as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I allowed all of that stuff to happen to me as well. And then as soon as these relationships like started gearing towards what my mom and what my dad went through, I was like, this isn't going to work out. Thank God it was only like a year and a half for my first like real relationship for me to figure out like, okay, well, physical abuse is not my thing.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse is definitely not my thing either. But I still kind of kept up with it because then my next relationship was with the guy that did like verbally abuse me a lot. And it was just like I've already been so insecure, but that is what a lot of people in his life at that time said because he was so much older than me. Everybody was like, okay, well, obviously he's into this girl because she's insecure and like he can manipulate her and make her and basically groom her into like this like individual that he can just manipulate and control by
Right.
pulling some strings on her
Saying
heart.
certain things to trigger her into behaving
Exactly.
disgusting.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, man, for me to finally realize that in my adulthood, like, thank God that I finally realized that, but it has turned me off to having closer relationships other than like best friends.
Ooh, okay. So let's get into the next question.
Okay.
Leading off of that,
Uh-huh.
can boundaries become toxic?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I
Okay,
think
you're
very
already
much
kind of
so.
going on that little walk. So what do you think?
I think that not having boundaries is toxic, and also having too many boundaries is very toxic. I think that I had also added in there that
I loved it.
okay,
Do you
good,
want me to read
yeah,
it?
yeah, sure,
Okay, so she had sent me or which one was it? I'm sorry. Here, you just read it.
okay.
You know I'm not good at that.
Boundaries are equal to standards of how we want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should have boundaries, not just with how we are treated, but also what we disclose to people about our personal relationships, our thoughts, and our beliefs.
Lots.
And I just think that, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was very difficult for me to really understand that boundaries also mean like being able to keep some things to yourself as well.
Oh, like
Because,
instead of oversharing. Yeah,
yeah,
I had to learn that too. I was an oversharer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same. And I still kind of have that habit of doing that, but it's also because when people start sharing about their life, I feel inclined to share a little bit more about my life as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes it a little bit more comfortable for the person who is sharing though. You know, is like if they give you a little something, then you should give a
Is that
little
part of
something
like your
back too.
people pleasing a little bit?
A little bit, but I think that it's more coming
A nurturing
nowadays.
vibe.
Exactly. Nowadays, it's coming more from a like, oh, well, I want this person to feel comfortable with me. Like, and they feel comfortable enough to open up to me a little bit about their life. And I think that's such a wonderful thing. Like, for me, at least. I know that we had different opinions about that before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I like being trusted. I like being relied on. I like when my friends want to come to me with like a specific set of problems or like, you know, they just want to talk to me about their day. They want to vent and they know that I'm a safe place, you know.
Right.
I like being that person for people.
I'll be that person for my friends. I will not be
Mm-hmm.
that person for my random coworker.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
no.
mean?
I feel that. I
Yeah.
totally feel that.
That's just like the only boundary that I will have. Like, please come to me. Please come get a card reading. You know, I'm
Yes.
always giving my friends card readings.
Yes,
You
you
know what I
are.
mean? But a random person like that I've only talked to a couple times venting to me about something like, I'm sorry, sir, like,
I'm sorry, sir.
or ma'am, or they.
Yeah.
But I just don't know you like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a little bit of development to like get me to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because of my own boundaries. That's why I kind of like brought up the toxicity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of like, is that toxic of me to like be like, I'm good, like I don't want to listen to this, you know what I mean?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I see.
It's more of coming from a place in my mind like, well, if I'm gonna say all this like and waste my energy and breath and time and experience telling you all this stuff to help you and you're not gonna do it, Like,
What's
I'm
even the
just,
point?
what's the point of me wasting my breath?
I
Like,
feel
I don't
that.
know you. Are you actually going to take my advice? Or are we just like, I'm like, damn, that sucks, bro.
Well, a lot of the time I think that people open up to us like that because they just want somebody to talk to. Like they probably don't have a safe spot or safe person to that they trust enough
Mm-hmm.
to talk about those things. And so sometimes talking to just random people, you know what I mean, like will help other people make them feel better about their situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've literally been approached by random people, like people I don't know, I don't work with them, people that I've met at the bar, at off the street, like they'll just come up to me and tell me their story. Not even like a homeless person. It's like a whole person with their own life, their own set of problems, and I'm just eating my chips and salsa. And all of a sudden they just want to spill to me all their beans about their life, you know what I mean? And that's okay. I'm like I feel like that's kind of what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
kind
was,
of what
I'm sorry. Like, that's
I
totally
know.
where we
You're
differ.
gross. I
I know.
know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But it's okay because we're different people.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we both have different purposes in life,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think that I have a very clear sense of who I am and what I want to do on this earth. And what I want to do is to be there for people. Even if I don't know them, I feel like them meeting me, them having that opportunity to like see my perspective on things, I think that that changes a lot of people and the way that they think. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though you might not think that other people will take your advice, sometimes though it'll stick in their
Yeah.
head. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Sometimes
I
they'll
agree with that.
hear. Yeah. They'll hear
Um,
like what you said,
mhm.
you
I was
know.
just doing card readings at First Friday
Hmm?
for a little side thing. Like, if
Okay.
they were gonna
Yeah.
buy anything and be like, I also do tarot. First one's for free. If you have another question, it's $1. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Type
well,
of thing.
period.
And I
That's not
made quite a
bad.
bit of coin.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
I
great.
was drawing people's card, and if it came out negative, then I would be like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw an extra card for you. But I would be like, just tell them what the cards say. But I would be
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know what's going on, but this is what it's saying, and you should follow your passions or whatever the fuck. But
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to like get them to talk to me. But
Oh,
I'm kind of
okay.
like just putting it out there. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there was this one
Mm-hmm.
particular dude that had like a lot of emotions come up, and his friends were all like, oh, crazy because like he's going through all this, and I was like, you don't have to tell me, but like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But like, I hope everything works out, and this is how you're gonna get over it. Like, you just gotta keep
Mm-hmm.
on moving forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Period,
But
girl.
like, it's not. I feel like it's just not me for me to know like that deep about somebody. You know, because like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? Go to bed thinking about this person, this random person on the
No.
street? Like, you know what I mean?
You
Like,
don't have to. I don't.
exactly, exactly. But it's just kind of like,
At least you though are able to change somebody's like path in just that small little like I nudged you. You
mm-hmm,
know what I mean? Like I nudged you towards the right direction. Like
mm-hmm,
at least now you have a little positive sense of like your path in life, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I that's how I think of my interactions with people so that I don't spiral into like, oh, I'm going to be thinking about this person when I go to bed at night. Like I don't. I'm sorry if you're a random person that I've met before, and I'm glad that I've met you, but at the same time like I try not to let other people's energies get the hold of my energy.
mm.
It's more of just like that's my boundary
Yeah.
then.
I would
It's
say that's
like
also the boundary that I have, but
being able to cut people's
you're willing
energy off
to,
from me.
yeah,
But I will give a little bit of my positive energy to somebody who I think is in need of it. You know what I mean? Or
mm-hmm,
if I feel like, they have a mindset that should be changed, that like, it might be a little ugly, might be a little dark, might be a little dusty maybe.
particular Virgos come to mind.
Yeah. Like people in general are like that are kind of like energy vampires. I'll give them a little bit of my energy so that they understand that what they're doing is wrong and understand that what is like a nicer way of doing things. You know what I
Period.
mean? Like you don't have to manipulate people, you don't have to lie to people, you don't have to like coax people into doing things that you want to do. It should just be like about you and your life and
Period.
like how you're living it. You know what I
Period.
mean?
So I'm not toxic. Great.
No, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, you're great.
Great.
Let's keep saying that.
I know, right? Enabler. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What are some green flags that others could show to lower your boundaries? So you
Oh.
personally, especially when it comes to your romantic life.
Ooh,
in particular? We're getting the juice today, y'all.
that's really hard for me though.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. um, I I don't know. I feel like I would have to really trust this person because nowadays I used to just give people my trust. Now I understand that my trust has to be earned.
Earned,
You know what I
period.
mean? And not just my trust, but their trust also has to be earned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that I'm a very reliable, very honest person, so I can see why people could trust me right off the bat. Um, me like stroking my ego.
I didn't say it.
I was like, damn, that sounded really conceited.
Leo season.
But it's true. Like I am a very
Yeah,
trustworthy
you value
person.
yourself on those or you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, those are very valuable values
So like I don't know how to say that, but yes,
that I have. Yeah.
nice values.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that obviously trust. If I trust them, it has to be over a certain amount of time that I trust them. Just because I'm intimate with you doesn't mean that I particularly trust you. Just I just feel like that's just the situation nowadays in modern times, especially. Like I kind of don't like that, but I do want some fucks sometimes, you know.
Okay.
So, period. If I
Spare
want some
coochie.
fucks, then I'm going to go get some.
Okay.
But at the same time, like if they show me a vulnerable side to them, and it's for real, like I can actually feel like I have a very good instinct, you know, I have very good instinctual inclination towards people. And if I can truly feel that someone is being vulnerable towards me, they like don't mean to show me it in a way like it's kind of catching them off guard that they're showing me their vulnerabilities as well. That's when I can kind of open myself a little bit more to like this situation. But to be quite honest with you, I think that any relationship that I do pursue from now on would have to be with somebody that I'm like friends with.
First.
Like, yeah, I would probably like, you know, a lot of people make a big deal about the friend zone and whatever, but
It's not. That's not a thing.
I think that it's
That's for incels. That's a time for incels.
Exactly. Like just because we're friends doesn't mean that there's not the potential for something more. I think that, you know, any friend of mine that is romantically interested in me and shows me that they're romantically interested in me, I would then try to start putting like my trust into them in that particular sense. You know what I
Right.
mean? Unless I had a girlfriend, I don't deal with cheaters.
Heck no.
I don't deal with disloyal ass motherfuckers because I've dealt with that shit before. I'm not doing it again. I will find out. I will find out. I'm
It's
fucking
not
crazy.
hard. It's not hard.
And yeah, it's not hard. Y'all think that you are so sly. Y'all think you hide shit like the best. You don't.
Boys.
It's just because we turn our heads the other way and we try not to look at it, but we know what you're doing.
Period.
But
What
yeah.
other green flags would you say besides the whole friendship and trust? Like,
Mm.
what are some particular actions that you would be like, oh, okay, like this person, like at least in the friendship sense now. So okay, they have to go past the friendship now.
Yeah.
So what are the friendship goals now?
Okay. I like it when people are interested in me as a person. When they start asking me questions about me and what I think, what my beliefs are, and them being able to conversate with me, hold a whole conversation with me about that. Like, I think that's a really beautiful thing. I think that's also a very rare thing, especially for guys whose intentions are to like get in my pants. I love being asked questions because then it makes me feel like they truly want to get to know like the innermost parts of me, that they're not just attracted to me from my outside, because that's like honestly the only thing that guys have ever really like in my adult life have ever come up to me about is like because of the way that I look,
Right.
or because of the like vibe that I give off, or like, you know, the way that I put my makeup on or something, or the
What
way my
about,
boobs
like,
look.
feminine energy? Like, what would you say?
I like feminine energy in guys. I like when guys are caring, they have good hygiene. I like it when, you know, they know how to take care of themselves. They have a mature aura about them. To be quite honest, I kind of like quieter guys now. Like I like kind of like the
shut the fuck
mysterious
up.
guy. Yeah, because I'm talkative. So let me talk.
Let me talk. Hurry up. And then only talk when I ask you questions.
Period.
Toxica.
You know? No, just kidding.
Those are
Like
cute. I like it.
there's this guy in particular that I kind of like enjoy his
Mm.
a couple of guys in my class that I
Oh,
enjoy their
my mic
presence
keeps on turning this way.
because they're very like quiet normally, but when they get to talking to me, I can see first of all that they're a little nervous to talk to me. They do a little stuttering, a little, you know, a little
That's kind of cute, though.
nervosa.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
you
cute.
know what I mean. I kind of like that. It makes me feel like powerful.
I am goddess.
You know. It makes me feel good. But also it just, and they ask me questions about myself too. And those are the two guys that are the most quiet in the class. I feel that I've been able to get to know, also have asked me questions about myself and like what I like to do and where I go out and like how was my day, how was my weekend kind of deal. And I kind of like that. I like that a lot.
You've noticed the qualities in them are a little bit more to your taste than more talkative people.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, like other than this podcast, I feel like I'm steering more towards my introverted side, and that might just be because of the seasons changing, but I think that I'm very comfortable like just being by myself now or being just with like one or two other people. And like before that wasn't the case. Before I would be like, "Oh, let's everybody go out. Like let's all of us
That is
do
a fun
something."
vibe, though,
It is.
in a
It
fire
is.
sense.
But I just don't find myself like being super attracted to those kinds of things anymore. So I like guys that aren't super attracted to those kinds of things as well. But
I love that.
teach their own.
Teach their own.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have any green flags for setting boundaries down?
I like it when people are like, if I say that I'm busy, that they're all like, "Oh, that's cool. Reschedule. You know, nothing crazy." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I love that.
Oh, I love that.
Or like they continue to talk to me, and be funny with me and like have a good like repertoire with me. And like they're not just
Yeah.
like, and they remember what I say. Those are good friendship icebreaker moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am also very interested in knowing like things about others, like the more that we go along, but not just getting everything out at first, you know, like let's
Exactly.
kind of like chip away a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
not really into like trauma dumping a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really
I
not
feel
into
it.
that because like it kind of triggers me because I start like I notice that when people trauma dump on me, I start to like get very cold and shivery
Oh,
for some
wow.
reason. Like I just have that physical reaction. I don't know why.
Probably an empath thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate that, but I hate it. You
Hate
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So I would
Hate it
much
too.
rather like over like there's this new coworker I have and she's done it exactly the way I love it. You know what I mean? Like to start building up a friendship. You know what I mean? And that's just how I love vibe. You know what I mean? Like we have to slowly get to that point. We can't just like jump into it.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I
I
mean?
see that. Yeah. That's
When it
nice.
comes to like romantic relationships, green lights would be like remembering that that makes me uncomfortable or like
Okay.
accommodating me when it comes to my triggers or certain stuff like that. Like those are green lights in a relationship where
Nice. I
if you're
love
like
that.
a couple months in and you notice they're validating your emotional like emotional depth at all or like your triggers or anything like that, then that's a green flag for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
That's something that when me and Merlin got back together a couple years ago, like I noticed that there was a lot of growth in him when it comes to like him understanding my emotions and like how
Wow.
I operate. And that's when I kind of
Aw.
like, that's when like I kind of realized for myself because my friends would be like, "Are you really gonna do this again, bitch? Like, are you dumb?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Well, you're kind of seeing like a side of him that was before and I'm kind of seeing a different side of him now." And that's I think that's how it should be. You know what I mean? Like y'all's relationship in between anybody is y'all's business. You know what
Yes.
I mean? You shouldn't
Exactly.
be, and that's where it goes into the boundary of oversharing a little bit is like that's between y'all two. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Exactly.
so that
And I think that that's also a very good point to bring up because I used to be really big into like oversharing, I guess, with about my relationship with my boyfriends in particular. And it wouldn't just be with like my best friends, it would also just be with my friends or like my coworkers. And we all used to work together. So I could see from his point of view where it's like he thinks that I'm shit talking him, but in reality, I just didn't have any friends that I
Could
like.
vent to.
Yeah, exactly. And the friends that I could vent to were the people at my job, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so bad because I always think about it, like whenever I think about my friend Emily,
Emily.
I trained her as a server, like
Mm-hmm.
when she first came, and I trauma dumped on her about Vinod. I felt really bad because I trauma dumped on that girl. I feel so bad. And we both were like 19 years old at the time, like 19, 20 years old or something like that.
Y'all were kids still.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And she's just been like one of the most understanding and capable friends that I've ever met. So I just feel like, wow, like how far have we come, from that point in our life to now, you know what I mean? Where now we both know a lot about each other and about each other's lives and like our upbringings and everything. And it took us a long time to get to that point, but it started off with like a very heavy trauma dump. So, but I was like trying to make it lighthearted, but I didn't know how to because
Right.
I'm, mentally damaged. So,
Good point.
yeah. Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah.
That was all ever. Wait, hold on. Let me double check. Ooh,
pretty much it.
we never even like. Well, I guess we kind of touched on it in this. That's our last question. Is how do we recognize other people's boundaries?
Oh.
Like us personally, I guess, like a personal question. So, how do you recognize other people's boundaries, especially when it comes to a nonverbal? Like they're kind of just kind of throw out there that they're uncomfortable a little bit. Like
Yeah, I think that body language is like a huge thing. That's kind of what we were talking about in our communication episode.
yeah,
Body language is a huge thing for humans to communicate with each other, especially with us women. Like us women, we have like a sixth sense because we understand body language very well. And especially with other women, we observe and analyze very, very well. Like I think that's why we would make really great leaders if we didn't bring our like emotional disparities in with us as well. And it's not anything that's bad. I don't think that it's
I
bad
feel
to
like
be
men
emotional.
do that too, though.
Oh, for sure. But theirs is more geared towards like aggression and like anger, whereas women is more of like the empathy factor and like the nurturing, where it might be a little too lenient at times. You know what I mean? Like they try to
A
give
good balance of both is necessary.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me though, I think that when I see people tense up, you can see like very clearly like people tense up or like, they start turning away from you or, they start like, just idly shaking their head as you're saying things, they aren't really responding well to whatever's being said to them. You can kind of tell that it's not grasping their attention. I think that's a very good indicator of like the conversation should end or they're uncomfortable or they just don't want to conversate anymore or like, something is going on in that person's mind where they're tapping out of that conversation or that energy. And I think that men are not as attuned to that like sense of body language analyzation as women are, which is why like it's so important for us women to look out for each other because we can tell when another woman isn't interested in like having this conversation with a guy or like, I've had girls come and save me from conversations with guys that were like leading way too much into something else. And I've also had guys, try and talk me out of a conversation from somebody else, like I used to frequent this bar called 1919 downtown. And I would go there after work. I love that place too.
Recommend.
I used to go there and I would like, do my essays and whatever after work. And I would be waiting for some of my coworkers to come out. And there was this one time that this guy, he like lived in Southtown. And he literally like told me, oh, I live down here. He was already kind of lit. He was at Joe's Blues, which is right above 1919. And he like got shots. He got me a shot. And then he was like, all right, cool. Like, I would love to have your number. I'm going to have a Halloween party. I would love to have you and your, friends come. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, sounds good. Like, you know. I thought he was just being cool. And then he went and got drinks at Joe's Blues upstairs. He got so fucking lit, dude. He came back downstairs stumbling and like
They let him in?
stuttering and shit. Yeah, they let him in because I guess he frequents that place too, I guess. I don't know. But it was starting to get busier, and he was just like, "Oh man, you're still working on your essay?" And he was like texting me too while he was upstairs, and he just kept messaging after message after message after message. Like he had messaged me, I think like 7 times before he had come downstairs to come and talk to me again.
Brody.
I know, dude. And I was like really turned off at that point of just like even seeing him again and like talking to him. And my body language like would say that, because he was trying to stand super, super close to me, and I would literally like, you know, push my elbow in and like kind of stiff arm him. I kind of like turned my knees towards a different direction than him, and I would be like staring at the bartenders. I would be like trying to make eye contact with any bartender that would be looking my way. And finally, thank God, there was this one guy that was just like, "Hey, like, you know, is that guy bothering you?" Because that guy went to the bathroom and he was like, "Hey, is that guy bothering you?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, he's like kind of drunk right now, and honestly, like I just wanted to work on my essay before my coworkers came to have a drink with me." And he was like, "Okay, like do you want me to kick him out? Like do you want me to like talk to him or something, or like, you know, do you want me to just keep talking to you so that he doesn't come up to you again?" And I'm like, "I don't think that you talking to me is going to get him to stop talking to me. So if you want to kick him out, if you can kick him out, that would be amazing. I would feel really bad, but he's already been drinking since upstairs." And I showed him the text messages too. I showed the bartender like,
so he was already lit, and it's up to the bartender to like handle that anyways.
Yeah.
So
you know, and he was even like,
because his license could be on the line anyways.
Exactly.
So he needs to stop serving him.
oh yeah, they had stopped serving him, but he came down literally just to talk to me.
Oh, okay.
And his friend came down with him too, but he wasn't as lit as his friend. And then his friend came up to me and apologized for his friend's actions and like the way that he was talking. But he was just like, "But he's just really interested in you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, bye, like have a good night." And then the guy was just like, "Okay, well, text me, like I'll give you the elevator code and everything." He texted me the elevator code, texted me what time to be there. He's like, "Actually, if you want to come up tonight, you're more than welcome to. Like I'm on this floor, this place, this." I was like, "Bro, you literally just met me and you're giving me your whole address, your whole elevator. I could rob your ass right now."
I know, right? That's so true. Just wait for him to leave and then rob his place.
I mean, Southtown's an expensive place to live at. You know what I'm saying?
See, those are the moments that challenge my spirituality.
No, you did.
Those are the moments.
We're still humans, huh?
I'm still human.
But it was
Sounds
that
awful.
that made me think like, man, there is like some kind of sense in guys though, you know, like that made me feel a lot better, because at the end of the night, whenever that guy had left and I was getting ready to go myself, the bartender that was helping me out was like, "Do you want me to walk you to your car? I can definitely help you walk you to your car, because that guy lives here and he could be watching you from his window and whatever." And I was all like, "If you could, that would be so amazing."
Oh my God, that made my tummy hurt.
Yeah.
That's scary.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that bartender really looked out for me. And he even knew that this guy was like a regular. He knew that he lived here. So I'm like, "Thank you so much for like helping me out. Thank you for kicking him out. I'm so sorry that this happened." He's like, "No, I'm sorry that happened to you. But have a good night." Like, I hope, and like, no, you know?
He should have offered you a free drink. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
No, he did. He did.
Oh, okay, nice.
We both took a sweet potato bomb together, and I tipped him fat. So
Nice.
yeah.
You did a good job, sir. Here's a
Yeah.
tip.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. And
Bye.
yeah, I just I think that like really set me off to like really truly understanding other people as well and their body language, because like if somebody else were in trouble like that, I would want to know, you know,
Right.
like there's reasons why body language is like a thing, you know what I mean? That kind
And
of
there's
nonverbal
whole studies about it
communication.
and everything. Like, and people who are
Exactly.
masters of it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And like you can tell when people are like nervous, you can tell when people are being genuine with you. It's really just about those little things, you know what I mean?
Mhm. For sure.
But what about you? Do you think that you can non-verbally tell what people's boundaries are? That's a no.
I feel like I'm not the greatest at it, honestly. But I don't ever try to make people feel uncomfortable like that.
I don't think that you do,
Like at all. If anything,
to
I
be
try to stay
honest.
away from people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't.
You don't think that you can tell, like, when people are like,
Maybe if other people are uncomfortable around me, I'll be like, "Ooh, that girl is not having a good time with that dude right now," you know.
oh,
Or
okay.
okay, so a memory that just popped into my head was this gay couple, or I thought they were a gay couple on a like going to brunch when I worked at Ida Claire,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but they were actually on their first date.
Oh, yeah.
You
You want to talk about
sure? Why not?
it?
Okay. At first, I thought everything was good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then the dude who was not having a good time on the date started talking to me more.
Oh,
And I was all like, oh, what a nice guy. You know what I mean? And the guy was just like sitting there and I'd be like, so, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
obviously it wasn't picking up on like the things that were going down, you know,
Yeah.
but towards the end of the dinner, you know, or the brunch, I was like, or their dinner time, brunch time, I was picking up that they were not interested in each other. And the guy was like crossing his legs and the other guy was like sitting like this and he had like a cigar in his pocket and he was sitting like
Oh
this, like,
my
and I
God.
was all like,
Stop.
this doesn't look right.
Yeah.
This doesn't look right to
This
me.
doesn't look right.
And at the end of it, the guy was like talking to me more. He even like put me on some music and everything. Yeah, and it
Wow.
was like he was cute too. And I was all like, and he was all
Stop.
like I walked up while he was paying his portion of the bill, which obviously they were paying separate. So that's when I finally got that they were like, oh, okay, this is,
We're not
yeah,
a
this is
thing.
not a thing.
Yeah.
And then the guy was all like, he was like right signing his like check and tipping me.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess the other guy said that he was gonna tip me poorly.
Oh,
And then the guy was like, mm-hmm. And then he like, I had just walked up when he said, mm-hmm.
damn.
You know what I mean? And then he signed it real quick. And then he was like, thank you so much. It was nice meeting you. And then he like got up and walked away.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not even like.
So I
any-
guess I'm not that good
wow.
at picking up on like those
I feel
uncomfortable
it.
cues.
Okay, I
But
see.
body language, I guess, is something, a skill that you had to pick up on because of your being a
Experiences.
female. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A
Sure.
female. I hate saying that. Being a girl. Being a
Being
woman.
woman.
Being a
Yeah.
woman in today's society.
Ew. It was it's literally so gross though, because I was like, it also happened whenever I was a server too, like especially at Yard House, like downtown.
I just had a flashback.
Bro, it
I
was
hate Yard House.
it was bad downtown too. Like a bunch of the locals would come whenever like, you know, it wasn't super busy for tourists or like conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever that would happen, like I would come up to the table. I didn't think that I was pretty. I didn't think that I was anything to like, you know, smile at, smirk at, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But, you know, these bitches, like, you know, that are insecure, not bitches, I'm sorry, but these bitches that are insecure would like kind of take their insecurities out on me, even though I was an insecure little bitch, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like,
They're
man,
projecting.
you know what I mean? And I was just like trying to do my job. I'm not flirting with your man. I'm just trying to get his order and get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not gonna get his number, get your number, like, you know. And there are those rare moments that the couples would come in and they're so nice, they're so sweet, and like we would exchange numbers and we wanted to like play video games together and stuff like that. Like rare times.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, the girl would always hate me for no reason. I don't even know you. I don't know your man, and I don't want to get to know him. And also,
I think that's something so common in San Antonio.
you know what I mean? And they wouldn't like let
Trust
up on that
issues.
bitchy attitude unless I was like, oh yeah, I work with my boyfriend here. So I had to say that a lot of the times with those kinds of tables, or else like the girl or the male would like have a different feeling towards me. And I
Yeah.
have no idea why. And I'm just like, just because
You
I
know
have
why.
titties,
You know why.
bitch,
Yeah.
like I was like not that cute, girl. Like I'm not that cute. I had the freaking let me show y'all.
said,
Hold up.
mm-mm.
I had the side bangs like this. I had honestly just like doing it makes me
Little baby.
cringe.
Little baby.
I was like trying to be like
Hide
a
your
scene
forehead,
girl. Yeah. My big ass forehead, so I would do that. It was crazy. It was
I'm
crazy.
dead.
I know. Now look at y'all. Y'all see my
I kind
five
of like it. It
head.
looks more voluminous a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when you put it like that. Just bring it
But it
down.
was kind of like a comb over.
But yeah, I was about to say comb over moment. Also, you get pimples if you do that.
Yeah, I had heavy
Heavy. We
pimples.
don't do
That's
that no
why.
more. Okay.
No, no. A viewer question as well.
We did. So, Nikki had asked, how do I overcome the feeling of sadness, almost like grief, for setting boundaries? Which I thought it was a very good question.
It is a very good question.
What are your thoughts?
It brings a lot of like emotional clarity, I guess, into this topic. And it means that we would have to be a little bit more mindful about like our emotions. The thing is with boundaries is that boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are healthy for us to make as people so that we don't get taken advantage of, so that we understand who we are as people. The amount of respect that we have for ourselves is also the amount of respect that we demand from other people, and what we command as well through our own personal clarity. So I don't think that you should be feeling any grief with making boundaries. Maybe, I guess, in a sense of like letting go of that past self, maybe you might feel a little bit of grief in a sense of like you're maturing. But I think that's how you should be viewing it, is that you're changing for the better. You're
Yeah.
changing to grow. You're changing to be someone who's a better version of yourself.
Right. You're doing this for the betterment of yourself, and you should not feel bad for that reason.
No, don't feel guilty. Don't feel any grief. I mean, I understand if you do feel bad. I
Yeah.
do, because that's exactly how I felt, especially as a people pleaser. I came from a place of wanting to have everybody around me be happy, but that's just not possible.
Right.
The only thing that you should be so focused on is making yourself happy.
Happy, healthy.
Healthy, and prioritize yourself. Prioritize, the people who are absolutely the closest to you, the people that you trust the
Your number
utmost.
ones.
Yeah, exactly. Your ride or dies.
Period.
Trust them, that you'll be able to make the boundaries that you need to set in order for you to have healthy relationships. And if those people are not okay with you setting those boundaries, then they are people that are not okay for the better version of yourself, and those
Right.
are probably people that you have to let go.
Right.
But do you have anything that you might want to say about grief?
No, I think you said that very eloquently. If you're dealing with grief, like, take some time to process those emotions and let them flow. Like, don't dwell on it, but understand that you're feeling grief because of whatever reason. I can't tell you why it's the reason, but understand that you are feeling that because of the reasons, and then letting it have a deep breath out and letting that stuff go.
Nice.
So that would be my advice.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that it's normal for people to feel a little bit of sadness, especially when they're letting go a bit of their past. And I think that it's so commonplace now in modern society that people distract themselves from that change or the uncomfortability that comes with change by numbing themselves with like social media, or saturating themselves with other people's content, or trying to put themselves out there for more validation from people. And while that's all well and good, that's how some people cope. That's not how everybody should be coping. There's other things that could probably be servicing you and your goal as a person, as an individual, that isn't with social media, that isn't about being like an influencer, that isn't about being validated by people and how many people likes your posts. You should be posting because you think that this is something that you want to share with the world. This is something that you want to share with your friends. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I've been up to. It never should have gotten to the place where this person is influencing me in my life only because, and like, I don't even know them kind of deal. I think that's kind of crazy that, people will follow influencers like till fucking death, you know what I mean? Until they
Period.
find out, oh, one thing about them is bad or wrong, or
Yeah, I don't believe we should put people on pedestals, especially celebrities.
you know what I mean? We were literally just talking about this the other day, like how people are like trying to cancel Doja Cat, and like, you know, people are so upset at Ariana Grande for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you're not a part of their life. Like, they don't even
Yeah.
know that you exist. You know
Period.
what I mean?
They
Like,
don't even know your name.
you know what I mean? And like, there's just so many people that are spreading so much hateful comments, so much negativity, and it's so easy to get sucked up into shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, and who's to say, you know, if we ever have those kinds of hate comments, I might dwell on it a little bit too, but I don't think that I don't think that I'll ever let it get to me that hard though. Like, unless it were coming from somebody who I actually love and respect, like, and I'm very close to, and they wanted to say something kind of hurtful to me, then I would question, like, why would they say something like that to me?
Right.
I like, why did I let a person
But
like
some
that
rando
get
on
so
the
close
internet.
to me? But yeah, like, if it's just somebody that you don't even know, somebody that doesn't know you to your own core, why would you let them get the best of you?
Yeah.
Don't. You know,
Don't.
don't.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Going back to the feeling, the grief, and the sadness, though, like, just don't. Don't do it.
Yeah, you know, I know it's hard to get out of that, like, kind of funk, that kind of
Yeah.
standstill with your emotions, but that's something that you control. Your own reactions are something that you have control over. So that was kind of something that we had talked about in our last episode of self-control and impulses. Your emotions are very much that as well.
Yeah.
Like, your impulses are very much your own emotions and your own desires. And for you to exercise your self-control, that it requires a lot of maturity, and it requires a lot of patience as well with yourself.
Yeah.
But that comes with time. You know,
Yes.
you can't expect everything to just be okay the next day, overnight. You know, you have to put in work to actually make things work.
For sure. My Saturn is in Pisces.
Oh.
So what that means basically is that I struggle with my emotions a lot, especially during like intense situations,
Yeah.
or like I can stay in bed for hours due to my emotions.
Oh, wow.
And I've struggled with that.
Oh, no.
And all it is just
my Saturn.
you processing that emotion and being able to move past it, like I had said previously, like, because I've dealt with those kinds of emotions before, and like the depressive episodes that come with those boundary sets and you wanting better for yourself. But honestly, you should feel very empowered for setting your boundaries. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
you
you should
should.
embrace that.
Yeah.
You know, embrace the fire energy and the masculine energy that comes with setting your boundary and drawing a line. Like, this is not how I'm going to be treated.
Nice.
Embrace that, and you're going to feel better.
I think you should be so proud, because it takes true confidence to really set boundaries like that. You know what I mean? Like, you'll only ever see bad bitches be like that. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, well, I have a certain type. Like, I'm going to like say no if you're not going to fit my certain type. And it's okay if you have a type. It's okay if you don't as well. But it's more of just the idea of having that standard for yourself and enforcing it.
Very empowering.
You
I
know?
love it. For anybody, not just feminine energy, but masculine energy as well.
Period. You know what I mean? And that goes for anything and everything, like your job, your relationships, your intimate relationships, like yourself even. You should just think of yourself as a bad bitch, and I have enough confidence to set these boundaries. I have enough confidence to tell people no. I have enough confidence to tell people I'm uncomfortable. Like, you have to do that in order to protect yourself. So
Period.
what's the issue? There's no
What's the
issues
issue?
for the
There's none.
tissues, bitch.
Period.
Wipe those tears away, girl. It's okay.
It's okay.
Everything will be fine.
We're here for you.
Yes, period.
All right.
That's it.
That was it for our questions. We don't really have anything else. But I did
Nice.
want to start drawing a card at the end.
Oh,
Like, just
okay.
at the bottom of the deck. Like, see what the
Yeah.
energy is.
I like that.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
That's the 3 of Cups. So just to finish it off, y'all, build good friendships with people. Find positive outlets when it comes to boundaries.
Yes.
Find people who respect your particular boundaries, which you're all pretty universal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not like we're all like that different when it comes to our boundaries.
Exactly.
Um,
Communicate your boundaries effectively with people.
mhm.
If you feel like you have different sets of boundaries for different sets of people, you can explain that to them. You know what I mean? Because there are people like Angel that don't understand personal boundaries because he just
Wait, where's this
no,
going?
no, just because he doesn't understand like body language. But it's not like because he makes people uncomfortable. I think it just more stems from he's very aloof.
I am.
Yeah, and he is a Leo, so
Yeah,
everything's about
It's
him.
dumb. Just dumb. I'm just a cat trying to live my life, bro. I don't worry about nobody else. Don't worry about me. Period.
Ew.
But yeah, ending off on a good note. Respect each other. Respect
Yes.
other people's boundaries.
Yes.
If your friend says that you're being an asshole, then you're probably, you should evaluate that and apologize. Even, or if your friend's saying that you're being an asshole because of your boundaries, then it's probably best to drop that asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Period.
It all depends on the
Yes.
context, but please, like,
Yes.
come from a place of love.
Yes.
That's
Yep,
it.
that's it. Signing off. My name is Audrey Tan, otherwise known as at first.generation on Instagram. Y'all follow us on vibe-acious babes on Instagram for more content. Angel is now in charge of the account, so
We're gonna get
hopefully
it poppin'.
there will be more shit on there.
We're gonna get it poppin'.
I am gonna start editing these videos now that I have most of them edited down to the podcast. I'm going to publish them all tomorrow night. So you'll find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Store, and also Amazon, I believe, podcasts. And other than that, you, Mela, want to sign off?
No, that's it.
All right, bye. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. I don't know why that's funny to me. Thank y'all so much for watching, especially to our newest viewers. Like, please subscribe, like, comment, especially because that really helps us with the algorithm.
Yes, please.
We're really just trying to send out all positive energy. We're trying to help people grow while also helping ourselves grow.
Yes.
So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in tarot, stuff like that, then please follow.
Period. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.